Yes, great, cool. Cool, I'll take it. This sex paper. No worries. Thank you so much. If anybody else has a paper, I'll come around and get them.
Oh, what the heck? No look at this just now.
Yes. I know that it being upside down. I heard my name. There's nobody. Hello.
So once again, this paper. Hi Matthew, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. You?
Upside down. I don't know your.
I got my banana hat and I'm ready to go.
Cool, man. I still know about your upside down world. That you're
I don't know how to fix this. Maybe maybe I'll get a camera or something. Then I
upside
can
down. Hold on. Thank you. Yep, that's what I was saying. Great, thank you so much. Man, you guys are on it. All right, so hi. So just a couple things just to clarify, because a few people have had some questions. Again, you do not have to turn this in today, but thanks, because I think you guys are the winners with the most people that have completed the form. So thank you very much.
Well, I'll order it.
And that's the sex form, that's consent form, Matthew, on line. We can't talk about stuff. So if you go to Google Classroom, put that into your drive, and then use Cami, have your mom sign it, or your dad sign it, or a guardian, or whoever's in charge of you. But you can't sign it. I did have some people sign it with their own name. Unless you're 18 to 20, you can't do it. Okay, so there we go. All right, now, so again, you do not, people are like, wait, I didn't think we had to turn that in. Again, after 4 weeks or until you all turn it in, okay, then we're good to go in this class. So the sooner you turn it in, the sooner the fun can begin. Because already today I've had to edit some stuff off. Because guess what today is, folks? Guys remember what today is?
Monday.
Monday. Ooh. And Med Talk Monday means that we're going to get on the gram and we're going to look at pictures, and there's some pretty good ones. All right, so we're going to take every Monday, the first 5 minutes or so, we are going to look at pictures from today, just Miss Angelme. Okay, we'll mix it up. I won't do just her every week, but this is what we're going to start with today, and I'm very excited about that. And so Matthew, what I heard from the other classes is that people could see pretty well. So if you can't see, let me know. And I'll try not to do too
Am I
gross.
the only one in Cami today?
You want to what?
Am I the only one in Cami today? That doesn't seem
You mean on Zoom?
Cami, Zoom. Yeah, Zoom. There we go.
Here comes Trinity. So we're good. Yep. Ding dong. Hi, Trinity. Thanks for coming. Man, I've had people almost every period. It's been fun. I like this Zoom stuff. It's good stuff. All right. So here we go. Again, I'll try to forewarn you if it's too crazy. This one isn't too bad at all. We're going to start with on this one. So every Monday, this is Miss Angeline, and she puts these pictures up, and she will write a text about it. Okay, but she also will. One thing I love is she does mystery Mondays or mystery diagnosis. So on Monday she puts out a picture. Okay, so this was a couple weeks ago, and then she put she'll say guess your diagnosis. So mystery diagnosis. We don't know. You have to wait a week. I do know that baby's diaper needs changed. You might have an idea. In fact, one person in the last period class actually knew that this had something to do with the lymphatic system because they had seen pictures of someone with elephantiasis. Okay, right? Okay, if you've ever seen a picture of a person that looks like their leg looks like an elephant's leg, that's a form of lymphedema or a lymphatic illness. And that's exactly what this kid had. So then you go, so I can't always do this because this was an old one, right? But I can do it now. So lymphatic malformation, and then she does a little write-up. So I will read these to you, and then we could talk about it as well. So when this patient's mom was 20 weeks pregnant, she was advised to abort him because he had a lymphatic malformation. She was told his chances of survival were minimal, and if he did survive, his quality of life would not be good. He was born with a lymphatic malformation in his body, which mostly affected his right leg. The malformation caused a problem with fluid drainage in his leg. This caused his leg to get bulky, and the skin became ulcerated and often became infected. After 2 years, his parents decided to have the foot amputated. His surgery was successful, and he is already up, walking around, and living a good life. So, great news for this kid. Once again, you can have this form of lymphatic illness in any part of your body. In fact, I've seen pictures, and I can't talk about them now because you haven't signed the paper yet, of this same thing in parts that we can't talk about yet. Can you imagine that? Let's just put it this way. I don't understand how those individuals could sit down. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Yeah. Pretty unbelievable. Okay. So there's one. The mystery diagnosis for this week, okay, is I don't know what this is. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know what the problem is for sure. But does anybody know what this stuff is right down here? That's blood, right? Okay, and these are some other formed elements, and this is plasma, okay, in a test tube. So when you get your blood taken, they put it in a centrifuge and they spin it really fast. And all the heavy stuff goes to the bottom and the light stuff stays at the top. In fact, you might make some money off of this someday. You donate plasma. It's not really donating. You can go to BioLife in Fort Wayne. It's right there by Meyer. It's about a 3-hour process. You can get around $150 on your first visit, and then about $40 a week after that. It's about 2 to 3 hours. You sit down. They take all your blood out. Okay, they put it in a centrifuge. They take just the top off, and then they put your blood back in you. I will tell you that one time I had a former student who was doing this, and she fell asleep, because it's boring. You're just sitting there. And she woke up because her arm was throbbing. The tech had missed the vein and was pumping the blood in the tissue around the muscle. So her arm was swollen. It looked like somebody beat the crap out of her shoulder and arm, like bruises all over. So, yeah, I mean, I said, hey, do they pay you some more money for that? They just said, no, sorry. It sometimes happens, right? Oof, crazy. So next Monday, this will be the first thing we'll look at. We'll figure out what's wrong. I think it's something wrong with this stuff right here, but I'm no doctor. All right, let's play that game. Okay, here's the game. Is it knife? Is it firework? Is it a machine? Is it an animal? Or is it diabetes? I like to throw in diabetes.
I cut my
Yeah.
and had to get 5 stitches over the summer from a butter knife.
Oh, yeah, there you go, knife. Okay, any
Oh, it
guesses?
doesn't really work anymore.
Okay, yeah. Firecracker in the mouth. This is a rare one. It's 2 of them. Technically, it's an animal and a machine. The animal deer, the machine car. This girl's going 80 miles per hour, flipped her car 4 times, sliced her face from the glass on the sunroof. She had bruised lung, 2 broken ribs, and a broken vertebral bone. Okay. Yeah. When you see a deer, just hit it. I know. I mean, you have a greater chance of your car being okay. I mean, it's a bummer. I swerved once and man, flipped my car once on Packardon Road, and it was a bummer. And now I killed the deer. I know. It's horrible, but it's true. What's that? All right. Now this looks like something that may be inappropriate. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's showing me this thing, whatever this thing is, right? Okay, but this is totally appropriate. Okay, but you may not realize you have this in your body. Any guesses where you might find this thing? Eyeball, great guess. That's the number one guess today. Kaysen, was that you, Kaysen? Nice guess. Any other guesses? Throat, you are exactly right. These are your vocal folds, okay? And this is your trachea. That's your trachea goes from your vocal folds are where your Adam's apple is. So Adam's apple here, okay? Then your trachea goes there down to your lungs through the bronchi, then the bronchioles, the alveoli. So this was another mystery diagnosis. This girl, this is amazing. I've never heard about this before. So technically your trachea should be like this big, okay? Right? Her trachea incredibly small. So she's 22 years old, started having difficulty breathing, wheezing, noisy breathing, shortness of breath. She went to multiple specialists, had extensive testing done. She was treated with multiple different medications and nothing helped. This went on for 2 years. Finally, she was admitted to the hospital. For the first 3 days, she was given IV steroids. Nothing helped. She was then referred to ENT, that's ear, nose, throat. They gave her a laryngoscope. That's a camera that goes down into your throat. Okay, they saw her trachea was occluded, so it was blocked like 70 to 75%. Can you imagine that? Okay, she had to have a procedure done to dilate. It means just basically stretch out her trachea. She's only 24 now. Her doctors do not know what caused it. Tracheal stenosis can be caused by some kind of trauma, like chronic acid reflux, tumors, and autoimmune diseases. She's being worked up and has been put on a low acid diet. Isn't that amazing? We'll talk more about the vocal folds later and what your trachea looks like. It's pretty cool. All right, we'll end with this one. I have to shut the thing off because I'm going to forewarn you. This is a video. It is gross, but we'll play that game again. Knife, firework, machine, animal, or diabetes. Okay, but I'm forewarning you. This one's pretty bad. You ready? Yeah. Knife. You were exactly right. It is a knife. You can see I'll scroll up a little bit more, and I think it shows her hand here in a second. Yeah. So there she's moving her hand. So here's what happened. Patient's sister and her husband were in a fight. She was trying to break up the fight and got sliced with a knife in the process. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Whenever my wife and I fight, we don't usually get the knives out. That's yeah, you got it, man. You got it. Yeah. All right. So she does, Miss Angie, she's my fave, has a special page. And I looked at it first period because everyone's like, do it. It's like $45 for a year. I'm highly considering it because I like this stuff a lot. So I might try. I'll see if she has a trial. I'll get on the old computer tonight and look because it's like, she's like, these are over 400 posts not seen on Instagram, much larger explanations, dissect a celebrity to death every week. And it sounds like the Instagram is a light version. So I'm taking that as the gross room is like this stuff on crack, right? So I'm ready.
I'll give a donation.
Oh, really? That's so sweet of you. I can't take your hard-earned money, but thank you, I might. Just for the class. Take it. Yeah. All right. So there you go. That's Bedtime Monday. You guys like it? I do. I love it. It's just like one of those things. I started on a whim, and I thought, oh, let's just keep this going. And I look forward to it every week. Okay, let's do this. Go ahead and get out some notes if you got some notes. I will tell you. Once again, you don't have to take notes, okay? You can do drawings. My former student, Kayla Metzger, brought in her old notebook. I wanted to show you it. Yes, she did write some stuff down, but then she started kind of drawing pictures, okay? And her notebook became more like an art journal, And I stinking love this. I'm going to make a scan of it. If you're one of those people that likes that kind of stuff, you're an art person, you'd rather do drawings than take notes, and color them up. That's great. I also wanted to share with you, someone else said, oh, I've seen that kind of done before. This is a guy named Dan Eldon. I found this book a long time ago, and I was fascinated with it. He was a photographer in South Africa, and this is his journals. He died, and they found his journals, and this is what he would do. He would take pictures. He would draw on top of pictures. This was his journal of his life in Africa. And I just think this is the coolest thing. So if you're that kind of person, if you're not that kind of person, whatever, I want to give you the freedom to do you. Okay? Does that make sense? Is everybody cool with that? All right. Awesome. All right. We left off. There's Carl. Do you remember Carl? He's the dead guy. And I think did we removed some skin, and I think we started talking about chemicals. Am I right?
Yeah.
Here's a quick review. Oh man, forgot to give you the Bud Light at the beginning of period. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're not doing Bud Light in class, okay, or acid, but we did talk about this on Friday. Okay, so here's a quick little review. Okay, right. Okay, so here's my review. You're my nerve, right? Okay, nerves, normal. Hey, how you doing? Things are going good, right? Okay, we got the BL. Okay, what happens? Oh, I got this. Okay, finally get there, right? Acid. Woo! Right? There's that chemical level, right? That's the basis, man. You fall in love, you get mad, you stab your sister-in-law with a knife. Okay, I don't know. I guess it wasn't. Maybe they weren't married. It was a boyfriend, girlfriend, right? Okay, your girlfriend's sister sliced her up. Right, there you go. That's that. Why? Those are chemicals, right? Now you cannot say. You can't just say like, okay, I didn't like how Ali did that nerve, so I come over here and I punch her in the face, right? I just like punch her in the face, and then Dr. Lippy comes down and says, "Did you just punch Ali?" I'm hearing like there's tweets about it. Kids had Snapchat videos. You punched in her. I go, yeah, I did, but it wasn't me. It was my nerves, right? It was the chemicals that made me do it. It was the chemicals. Okay, no, that doesn't fly. Okay, it sounds like it might, but it doesn't. Okay, another chemical. Do you guys remember? Maybe if you had Greta for bio, chomp. Do you remember the macromolecules?
No.
Okay, we had we did crack lovers need pump. Do you remember that one? Yeah. So carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Okay. Remember this macromolecule right here? I'm going to give you a little bit of reviewsies, okay, from back in the day. Let's see if you remember these people. Remember this person right here? Anybody remember this woman? Okay, it's not Anne Frank. Somebody else said, oh, it's Anne Frank. Okay, not Anne Frank. Okay, this is, here, let me kill this.
Wasn't it something Franklin?
You got it! Trinity, good job. This is Rosalind Franklin. And she worked with this guy, Morris Wilkins. Why is she black and white? Well, because she died, right? She died. Good memory. And she died because, what did she do? What was her job? She did die because of this. She worked with these guys. It was radiation. You got it. Good job, Sarah. Okay, because she was taking pictures of DNA using what kind of camera? X-rays, right? And back in the day, they didn't think X-rays were all that bad. They're like, oh, I'll just take an X-ray, right? You don't have to protect yourself. Okay. Do you remember? Did these guys get along very well?
No.
They did not get along very well. Okay. So she was kind of angry. She was like, she's cool, but like he was like, oh, let's get along. And she's like, oh, shut up. All right. So one day, this is my favorite guy, or at least my favorite picture. Remember this guy? Okay. It looks like him. Oh yeah, I can see that. What's that? Yeah, it does kind of. I like how he's the only one that's alive still, by the way. It's like almost 90. Yeah. So this guy went into their lab, and these guys start talking, and he shows this guy. So this is Rosalind Franklin. This is Morris Wilkins. This guy's name is James Watson. Nice, James Watson. Okay. He said, "Hey, Rosalind Franklin took this picture of an X-ray, and it actually looked like an X." So he's like, "Oh, that's really cool." And then he's like, "Oh my gosh, I think this is a secret." He didn't know what it was, but then he went back to his lab, and his partner was this guy. Anybody remember this guy's name?
Oh, beautiful. Looks like Donald Trump and Mark Underwood.
I can see that maybe. This is Francis Crick. Okay, and so he goes, "Hey man, I was just in Morris and Rosalind's lab, and Frank," and he goes, "This is," and James sketched it out, and then Francis was like, "Oh my gosh, I know what this is," and Francis is like, "It's a double helix," and sure enough, it was. And so these two guys started building models. They came up with it. Everybody here got the Nobel Prize. She didn't get the Nobel Prize for DNA because they don't award Nobel Prizes posthumously, which is a major bummer because she was a key player. There was also this guy in the movie that we watched was eating soup. His name was, remember this, he was like, "Oh, they were fishing." He was all ticked about like James and Francis Crick, and he was like, "They were trying to get things from me," and he was like on the verge of death and still like ticked. Okay, so he came up with this stuff. Okay, do you guys remember that there are 4 letters, okay, which make up DNA? What are those 4 letters? A, C, T, G. If you've ever seen Gattaca, you know that Gattaca spells out, like those are the letters there, right? Okay, what's the A stand for? Adenine, good. What's the T stand for? Thymine, good. What's the C stand for? Cytosine, close. And what's the G stand for? Guanine, yeah, very good. Adenine, thymine, cytosine, guanine. Okay, so DNA, those one of those macromolecules. We are who we are because of DNA, right? Okay, let's talk about cells for a second. The cellular level, okay? Remember the brain of the cell? What's the brain of the cell? Nucleus, right? What's the powerhouse of the cell? Everybody in AP Bio knows that joke, right? I will tell you that I like to call the mitochondria sausage, okay? And here's why. I'll tell you this quick story. When I was in what's that, dude? It does kind of look like a tiny little sausage. Okay, so I was, my first few years of teaching, rough. One day I went home, I was so depressed, I thought I need to make myself feel better, so I started watching Jerry Springer. Okay, that always makes you feel a little bit better, right, about your life. Okay, and so I'm watching Jerry Springer, and then I got bored, so I started flipping through the channels, and there was a documentary about cells on. Normally I'd skip right by it, but we were talking about cells in class, and I thought maybe I should watch this. It might help me. And then the other thing that got me was the person had an accent, and I'm a sucker for accents. Like they could be talking about their bowel movement and a British accent. I'd be like, "Ooh, that's really interesting." Okay, right? And so picture this: a woman in a lab coat, okay, looking in a microscope, and then the scene cuts to like inside the microscope so you can see the cell. Y'all with me on this? Okay, so the cell's in there. And the narrator's like, "Oh, right here we've got a typical animal cell. Right in the middle, we've got the nucleus. The nucleus is the brain of the cell. Surrounded by the nucleus, we've got the rough endoplasmic reticulum. We've got the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And right over there, we've got a tiny little mitochondria. If you look closely, the mitochondria looks like a sausage." And they say it just like that. And I was like, I thought either they got really excited or they got something stuck in their throat. Like I had no idea. Right? So I was like enthralled. I keep watching. And then they keep talking about, they're like, "Oh, over here we've got the lysosome. The lysosome is used to clean up the cell. And all of these things are surrounded by the cytoplasm. The structure of the cell is the cytoskeleton. And wouldn't you know it, right over here we've got a tiny little mitochondria, another little mitochondria. A lot of cells have more than one mitochondria. And if you remember, I said it looks like a tiny little sausage," and said it just like that again. And then in that very moment, I realized it's fun to say sausage like that. So can you all say it with me? But don't say it from here. I'll say it from here, right? Okay, you ready? Okay, you ready? Don't spray it though, because we don't want anybody to get COVID. Like, Mr. Burnworth, you made us yell sausage and I spit and that had COVID in it. Okay, all right, you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, sausage! Right? Doesn't it feel good? It gives me a little tickle. Let's do one more. 1, 2, 3, sausage! Yes. Very nice. All right, those are the cells. Okay, cells that, of course, make up tissues. Okay, so cells make up tissues. We're going to talk about all kinds of tissues. I should probably talk about this picture real quick, though. There's the nucleus. There's some flagella, some cilia. Here's the packer and shipper. Okay, I'm not going to quiz you on this. Most of you had this pretty hardcore in AP Bio. You all had it, should have had it in Bio 1. Okay, mitochondria, there's a lysosome. Remember the difference between the rough ER and the smooth ER? The rough ER has ribosomes on it. Ribosomes are made inside the nucleus in this little thing called the nucleolus. Okay, and those ribosomes are the assembly line. That's what puts together all those pieces to basically transcribe DNA. Transcription and translation. Remember that? Translation is putting tRNA, mRNA together to make a protein. Hopefully, like you're like, all these words sound really familiar. When you put the words into sentences, they don't sound familiar, but the words, right? Yeah, maybe a little bit. DNA, RNA, all that stuff. AP Bio folks in here, if you took AP Bio last year, then you should definitely, or some of you taking it this year. Anybody take AP Bio this year? Nobody? Okay, that's fine. Anybody take it last year? You took it last year, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. You're with me then, right? You guys spent like weeks on probably this stuff, right? Okay, cool. I highly recommend the class. Let's talk about tissues for a quick second. So name a tissue. Can you name a tissue in your body? What's that? Okay, I like that. I'm actually talking about in your body, unless maybe you ate one.
Brain tissue.
Okay, yeah. Brain tissue. Okay, so nervous tissue. Okay,
Tissue.
what's that?
Scar tissue.
Okay, scar tissue is kind of a weird one. Scar tissue is made up of tissue that was something else previous. Okay, it's actually ends up being a little bit of a connective tissue. Okay, what else? What about this one? Muscle tissue. Okay, good. Any other ones you can think of? We got nerve, muscle, connective. There's one other big one. Skin, okay, epithelial tissue. But there's all kinds of epithelial tissues. We're going to go into all those. I like to call them like TOTs, like types of tissue. Okay, so you guys know that you have cells inside your mouth. Okay, those are called simple stratified squamous cells. Okay, it's layers of these squamous cells. Okay, and the same cells are also in your rectum. That's pretty exciting. So your butt, you're not like butt cheeks. We're talking like up in there. Up. Yeah. Okay, that's the same thing as the inside of your mouth. The same tissue. All right, now hold on a second. I can prove it, but it's gonna have to have a procedure. No, it's crazy. So think about this. You're chewing, you're talking. I don't want my mouth to bleed. They're a protective kind of tissue. Okay? Every time you open your mouth, your teeth are going to be rubbing against your cheek. We don't want your mouth to bleed out, man. Same thing with your poop. Every time, if you had like super X-ray vision goggles and you can look at your turd, by the way, you should always look at your poop. Okay, if there's blood in your poop, bad. Okay, but your turd would be covered in those cells because as it passes through your colon, through your rectum, then your anus, then the toilet, pop, pop. Okay, then those cells are protecting. Oh, we've only just begun, Bella.
Oh, I know.
Only just begun. I don't know where I'm going with this. All right, okay. Those are tissues. We're gonna get hardcore into tissues. I'm pumped about it. Okay, so those tissues then make up organs. This is the tissue inside your bladder. This is the only transitional epithelium in your whole body. And the reason why it's specialized in your bladder is because your bladder grows and it shrinks, right? And if you have to go pee-pee, you have to go pee-pee right now, okay? Your bladder might be full, okay? By the way, can you die if you don't like go to the bathroom? Like maybe you've used this before. You're on a road trip. You're like, Dad, pull over. If I don't pee, my bladder's going to burst and I'm going to die.
Minus the die part.
No. You might like think you're physically dying. Have you ever had this happen to you? you like have to pee so incredibly bad that you think you're gonna die, and then you're like, pull over. Your dad's like, no, shut up. And then you're driving, and then like 2 hours later, you're like, oh man, I forgot I had to pee so bad.
It's kind of when you have the urge to use the bathroom, it's only like half full.
Oh, right. So you will not die if you don't. Your bladder's not gonna explode. Okay.
What if I don't go for
You
like 3
can
days?
die. You can. I'm gonna hold it for 3 days and prove Mr. Burntworth wrong.
Okay, I wasn't thinking that, but
Yeah.
can you really like,
Well, so you're gonna probably just pee yourself. Yeah, probably most likely in the night when you're not thinking about it, like your bladder's so full, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like,
don't you hate those dreams where you think you're on the toilet and then you like pee your bed?
I do hate those.
I've never had
What?
that. It was like when I was younger.
You're like, just last night. Just last night I woke up. Hey, I had a dream.
I hear a waterfall.
I had a dream that I
I have really weird
Was-
dreams. I kind of lucid.
was eating a giant marshmallow, and I woke up and my pillow was gone.
Funny.
Hey, once everybody signs this paper, remind me, okay? Hold me to this. If somebody wants to write it down, I will tell you more about something in the morning and something involving urination.
I
Okay?
know what you're gonna say.
Okay, don't say it, just say it. Don't. Okay, but
Yeah,
remind
what
me
does that
because
work?
this is, it's really interesting. It's really interesting, but I can't talk about it now legally. All right, okay. So, yeah. All right. So this is the this is the bladder. All right. So that was the tissue that makes up the urinary bladder. But look at this. The bladder itself has epithelial tissue. It has connective tissue. It has muscle tissue. It has more connective tissue. Organs aren't just made up of one type of tissue usually. Okay. There's a combination of a bunch. Okay. So then we make up the system. Here are the kidneys. Here's the ureter. Here's the urinary bladder. There's your urethra. I'm going to show you a really sad picture right now. Here's a baby that was born with the urinary system outside of its body. Okay. You can see there. Okay. Just kidding. It's just a diagram. Sorry, it's a bad joke. But there's, yeah, right. There you go. So that's where it is. Now here's the dead guy. You ready? I'm going to shut off. Here's Carl. Here's the inside of Carl. So when I show you these diagrams, typically they will color either in green or sometimes blue the thing that they're talking about. So the kidneys are these green things. They're not really green. Here they are. So this picture is the same as all of these pictures. Y'all with me on this? Okay. So by the way, if I were to cut you open right now, I would not be able to see your kidneys like this. Okay. So this is an anterior view. So this is the stomach view of the guy.
That looks
Of
like a
Carl.
big mole.
What looks like a big mole?
In the corner.
This?
Yeah.
What organ do you think that is,
I
Bella?
don't know, but it looks like
Stomach.
a. is it
Nice
a
guess.
stomach?
It was something we talked about on Friday, and you're like, I never knew we had that thing.
Oh, spoon.
Spleen. Yep, that's a spleen. Okay, now look, we've taken out some stuff. Okay, so it's an anterior view. So I cut them open like this. Okay, y'all with me on this? I cut them open for those of you on the, cut them open like this. Okay, but if I cut me open like this, okay, what's gonna be on top of this part?
Your stomach and intestine.
Yeah, my intestines. Yeah, my large intestine's going to be up like this. My small intestine's going to be right here. My stomach actually is right here. Okay. My pancreas is right here. Okay. This is only half of the liver. So we cut the liver off and there's no gallbladder there. Okay. This is the abdominal aorta that divides into the renal arteries that go to the kidneys. This is the ureter. Okay. So the blood goes to the kidneys. Okay. The kidneys filter out the stuff that we don't want. The waste, keep the stuff that we do want, a lot of sodium, a lot of calcium, a lot of water. Okay, and then this is the ureter that goes to the urinary bladder. Okay, so this is the urinary bladder. I had to cut the next slide out of this presentation because y'all haven't signed the paper, but we'll go back to that. This is Carl, and I'll show you all where it goes. Okay, so there you go. All right. Now I'll tell you this. What's that? What's that?
Nothing.
So this is, I'm going to give you, now, right now you're kind of like, why are you showing this? These are all the systems kind of together. Okay. This is your second semester, the first part of your final. Okay. So your final exam, okay, is this. I take away all these words. I literally print this off in the printer. I cut all these words off. I leave the blanks, you write everything in. Okay? Yeah. So that's just the first part. I think it's pretty easy. Though one year a girl said to me, she was like, "Oh man, she missed two. She put liver and then she put lungs." And I was like, "What the heck were you thinking?" And I go, "You think your liver's up here right next to your heart?" And this is, after we've already talked about respiratory system, digestive system, all that stuff. She's like, "I know, I'm stupid." She goes, "I just mixed them up." I go, "How do you mix those up?" She goes, "They both start with L." And I just put the wrong thing. I get it, right? It happens, right? But I'm going to get you there. I don't think anybody ever misses this, okay, by the time we get, except for like little dumb stuff like that, okay? Right? So we'll study every single one of these organs in detail. Okay, let's talk about the systems real quickly. Okay, here's the lymphatic. We already hit that today. Okay, so your lymphatic. Nobody asked me about this, but here once again is the person. Okay, in blue, and then this is what it looks like. So the blue is the highlighted thing. Notice that bones are in the lymphatic system. The spleen is in the lymphatic system. This is the thymus. Okay, it's above your heart. We'll talk more about that. This is what circulates immunity. Okay, respiratory system's pretty easy. Okay, there we go with the lungs, the trachea, and so on and so forth. Here's the digestive system. One of my favorite things to talk about. Where
sure that it's CNA work, learning your skills, what you can and cannot do, testing. I had 80 question test a week.
Crazy.
And I had to get 80%. If I didn't, I had to retake it. You can only have so many.
Crazy.
The Zoom crashed.
Hey, I'm sorry. What's the last thing that you heard?
Yeah, you were. How can I not remember? All I know is that you were walking. Why do you sound so muffled?
I'm sorry, my computer died.
Oh, last thing I heard was you were talking about you were talking about the thing and it was a little bit after you talking about how the girl messed up between the liver and lungs and stuff.
Oh, perfect. That's perfect. Okay, I didn't really talk about much more, so it really wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It crashed around 3:11. So.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good, man. All right, well, we didn't really talk about much more after that.
All right.
Okay, man.